Hello everyone, I'm Frank and welcome to Frank Puzzles, and this is today's easy level puzzle called Relatively Foggy Cages by Nebuzaradan imitating Electron. And so this must be one of those, there's a whole bunch of puzzles that are basically setters who basically wanted to imitate other setters and their style of setting Sudoku puzzles. So this is Nebuzaradan imitating Electron. And here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means place the digits 1 through 9 in every row, every column, and every box. Cells separated by a black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio. So, for example, if this was a 2, this would have to be a 1 or a 4. Cells separated by a white dot are consecutive. So, for example, if this was a 7, this would have to be a 6 or an 8. Additionally, every dot connects two cages. So every dot has to connect two cages. Cages separated by a black dot have relatively prime sums. That is, the greatest common factor is 1. So say this was a cage. These three were a cage. Then this sum, the sum of this cage, would have to be relatively prime compared to this cage, right? Which means that, so say this cage added up to 6, then this cage could not be divisible by 2 or 3, because then they would have another common factor, which would be 2 or 3, essentially. So this could not be like a 4, it could not be an 8, it could not be a 9, it could not be a 12, any of those. If this summed to 6, so this could not sum to those values. We have another information. Cages separated by a white dot have sums which are not relatively prime. So that means that this cell or this cage is next to a cage here or whatever. Then they are not relatively prime, which means they do have another common factor besides 1. So it could be like 2, 3, 5, 7, whatever. Digits may not repeat in cages, which is normal for killer cage Sudokus. Not necessarily all dots are given. So that means there could be other cells in this puzzle which have a 1 to 2 ratio or that are consecutive. Oh, I forgot about, yeah, or are consecutive. And it doesn't have to be marked by a dot. The grid is partially covered with fog. Correctly placed digits will clear the fog around that cell. No guessing is required. So, I mean, you could just randomly guess that digits, but that's not really the fun of Fog of War puzzles. Fog of War puzzles is usually using your logic to figure out how it actually works. And so, I mean, those are the rules. If you like to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now I'm going to get started. Let's go. Okay, so yeah, that was a bad assumption for me to say that this is one large cage here, because again, the rules say that cages separated by black dots have relatively prime sums, but cages separated by white dots have sums which are not relatively prime. So this is just a contradiction if this was one cage. Therefore, we know, okay, so this cage specifically goes here. So this has to be a one cell cage. So we know that these two cells are relatively prime. Their greatest common factor is 1. But this black dot says it's a 1 to 2 ratio. The only two numbers that fulfill that, where you have a 1 to 2 ratio and they're still relatively prime, is 1 and 2. So this has to be 1 and 2. In addition, this is consecutive with something else. So this has to be the 2, right? Because this can't be 1. If it's 1, what is it consecutive to? There's nothing that fits from 1 through 9 because the 2 is already taken care of. Therefore, this has to be a 2. This is a 1. This is a 3. This is a 4 because that's consecutive. So the white dots connect cages which have sums which are not relatively prime. Since this is a 2, that means this must also be divisible by 2. So this has to be an odd number. We don't know which, though. This, however, is not. Does the sum is not even, right? So this is divisible by 2. This one cannot be. So this one has to be one odd, and then the other one's even. We don't know which, though. So one of these is odd, one of these is even. These two are consecutive. So this is 5, 7, or 9. This is odd, right? So okay, these two are odd. And this is even. This isn't a 1 to 2 ratio, so this must be a 6 or an 8. And this is 3 or 4. So this cannot be odd. This has to be even, which means this has to be odd, right? If this was even, then you would have, okay, so this is even too. Then this would be even number, and this would be an even number, and, oh wait, no. Black is the, cages separated by black dots have relatively prime sums. Therefore, this could be even. Huh. Okay, take that back. We don't know what this is. This does still have to be 6 or 8 because black any two cells that are in a 1 to 2 ratio have to contain 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, or 8. And 1, 2, 3, 4 in box 1 is already taken into account, so this has to be 6 or 8. Therefore, this cell has to be 3 or 4. So this cage has to have is not relatively prime to this one. So they have to have a common factor that's not 1. Okay, again, this also has to be 6 or 8. Ah. So this is 6 or 8, which means this is 3 or 4, right? Because we've taken into account all the 6 or this cannot be 1, 2, 3, or 4 either, right? So this is 5, 7, 9. This is 5, 7, 9. Okay, that tells us a lot of information, actually. Because this has to have a common, but okay, this has to have a common factor with this that's not 1. But this can't be even. So that rules this one out from being 3, 5 because we know this one's odd, this one's even. If this is 3, 5, the only possible factors would be 2, 4, and 8, which this cannot have because it's odd. So 5 is out. This could be 7 or it could be 9. It's probably quite tough to say. So this has a common factor with this. Okay. This is also, oh, that's interesting. This is also has a common factor with this. So this has a common factor with both of these. I think it would have to be 3. If we made it 5, so say this was 7 and 3, right? If this is 3 and 7, this also has to be divisible by 5. 3 and 7, so it could be, it cannot be 4 and 9. Because 4 plus 9 plus 6 is 19. 4 plus 8 plus 9 is 4 plus, excuse me, 4 plus 8 plus 9. So if this is 3, 7, 4 plus 6 plus 9. Oh, wait, it could be 15. So it could be 4, 6, 5. That works. Okay, and 469 does not work because that's 19. 489 does not work because that's 21, and so these would not have similar factors. But I think 39 doesn't work. If you have 39, that's 12. So you could be either 2 or 3. It can't be 2 because this is odd. But what about 3? Oh, it does work. So this would be 4, 5, and 6 also. So this is 4, 5, 6 either way. So if you have 4, 5, 6, works because this is 3, 9 again, remember. 3 and 9. If you have 4, 5, and 6, that's 15. So that works either way with 3, 7, or 3, 9. 4, 7 doesn't work with anything, right? You either have 4, 6, 7. So if you have 4, 6, and 7, that has to be so that's 17, which is not divisible by 3. 4, 8, 7 is 19, which is also not divisible by 3. Therefore, this is always 5 and 6. So this is 8. This is 4 because 1 to 2 ratio. 3 because of 1 to 2 ratio. So this is divisible by 5 and 3. But if this is 8, it would have to be 8 and 9. 8 and 7. 8 and 9 is not divisible by anything, actually. It's 17. So this has to be 7. This is 9. This is odd. Okay, so it's this one large cage. So this is relatively prime to this number. So this cannot be 2. Well, this is 15, so this cannot be 6 or 9. It can't be 2. It could be 1. Oops. It could be 1. Cannot be 2, 3, 4. Could be 5. Cannot be 6 because then these two would have a common factor that's not 1. Could be 7. Could be 8. Cannot be 9 because of the same problem. Oh, wait. Can't be 7. If this is 3 and 7, this is 10, and that's 15, and then they would have a common factor of 5. So this can't be 7. So 1, 5, and 8 all potentially work. This is large. Okay, so these do not have a common factor. So it's not divisible by 3, and it's not divisible by 5. These, however, do have a common factor. It could be 11. Or it could be 2. That's more likely. Excuse me. Right, so this has a common factor with this one, whatever this is. It could be like 30. Oh, it cannot be 33. Interesting. Okay, I think 11's kind of ruled out. We know this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, in fact, this has to be the size. Because we know that this cage cannot have a factor. It has to have a greatest common factor of 1. So there's no other common factor with this cage. And if it were 9, it would have to be 45. So we know this is a cage. And it's missing 1 digit. It does not have. It's not divisible by 3, so 33 is ruled out. It's not divisible by 5, so any of the 10 digits are ruled out. The 5 and 10. That also ruled out 45. This is either 4, it's either 8, or it's 11. If it's 11, this can't be 11. This can't be 22. It can't be 33. It can't be 33. And it can't be 44 because we have a 1 here. So this has to be even. So all the even digits are here. We just don't know where Wait, so this is even. So this has to be even, right? Because 11 doesn't work. So this cannot be 8. Um, so this is odd. So all the so there's 4 evens, but this one could be the even. Oh, this is consecutive. So this has to be 2, right? So this cannot be 2. This is even. Therefore, the 2 has to be one of these two. Um, and then we have an odd. So this has to be an odd because we know this one, this cage is even. So one of these is odd. So we know 6 is, oops. 6 is here, 8 has to be here. 2 is one of those. We have 3, 5, 7, 9 in this box, in box 2. No 3, 7, 9 here. No 5 here, no 5 here. Okay. Again, so this is 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. This is 2, 4, 5, 6, 8. And this is 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Okay, not too helpful right now. We know, again, these are relatively prime. These, however, are not. So it has to have, this has to be even. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we don't. Okay, so this one we don't even know though if it like even. There's no right now no connection here. Hmm. This one's different, obviously. So we don't know what that is. Cells separated by black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio. Okay. Cells separated by a white dot are consecutive. Okay. Additionally, each dot connects text. Every dot connects two cages. But that doesn't tell us anything really. Cages separated by a black dot have relatively prime sums. Cages separated by a white dot have sums which are not relatively prime. Digits may not repeat in cages. Not necessarily all dots are given. The grid is okay. That doesn't really tell us very much. Dang it. One thing this cannot be. So say this was 3 or 9. This would then become divisible by 3, which it cannot be here. Say this was 5. It would also be divisible by 5, which cannot be. So this cannot be divisible by 3. It cannot be divisible by 5. Therefore, that rules out a 5 there. That rules out 3 and 9 there. So therefore, this has to be 2 and 7, right? Does that make sense? We know, so if you remove the 5 from 45, because all 9 digits added together in Sudoku, all unique 9 digits in Sudoku add up to 45. So if we take out a 5 and obviously a 2, because the 2's not in this cage, or sorry, not in this box yet. If we take out 5 from this cage, that's 40, which is divisible by 5, and that's divisible by 5. So this doesn't work because of the rule, right? They have to be relatively prime. If you remove 3 or 9, that becomes either 42 or 36, which is divisible by 3. And this is also divisible by 3, so that would not fulfill that rule either. Therefore, this has to be 2 and 7. So that's 2, this is 7. This can't be 2, no 7 here, no 7 here, no 7 here, obviously. This is consecutive, and it can only be 1, 2, 3, 8, or 9, so it has to be 8. Which allows us to do some Sudoku to remove 3, 9. This becomes a 3, 9 pair, so we can remove 3, 9 from the rest of the box. So this becomes 5, 6, which forces this to be 8. So this can't be 5, 6 because of the 5, 6 pair. That eliminates 5, 6 from the rest of the row. This can't be 5, 8 because of Sudoku. This can't be 8 or 3, 9 because of this 3, 9 pair. That eliminates everything from the rest of the rows. This is either 7 or 9. Okay, so this is 7, and this is connected to through a white dot to this cage. So this cage specifically, so we can remove this coloring. This cage specifically has a common factor with this cage, which means that it's a common factor with 7. We know this is already 13. This is a 4 or a 6. This is 13. So this is at least 17. So it could be 21, 28, 35, or 42. It can't be 42 because this is 1 and 2. Okay. Can this ever be 4? So we have 13 already. If you add 4, that's 17. If you add 3, that's 20, which is not divisible by 7. If you add 7, so 5 plus 4 plus 8 is 17. Plus 7 is 24, which is not divisible by 7. 5 plus 4 plus 8 plus 9. That's 13. 17 plus 9 is 26, which is not divisible by 7. Therefore, this cannot work of 5, 4, 8. Let's just make sure that 4, 5, 6, 8 does have a possibility. So it's 5, 6, 8 adds up to 11 plus 8 is 19. It cannot be 7 because then that would be 26, which is not divisible by 7. It cannot be 3 because that would be 22, right? 5 plus 4 plus 3 is 12. Oh, that would be 20. Well, yeah, either way, that's not divisible by 7. So 5 plus 4 plus 8. Sorry, no, it's 5, 6, 8. Oh, that's what it is. 5 plus 6 plus 8 would be 19. Plus 3 is 22, not divisible by 7. 5 plus 6 plus 8 is 19 plus 9 is 28. So that is divisible by 7. Therefore, it has to be 6 and 9 here, which makes this 4. This 7 by Sudoku. This is 7 by Sudoku. Okay, this is in a 1 to 2 ratio, so this cannot be 4. Therefore, this is also 1 and 2. And it can't be 2 because there's a 2 there. Therefore, this is 1 by Sudoku, 2 by Sudoku, 1 by Sudoku. Okay, this and this is relatively prime. This adds up to 18. So it cannot be divisible by 2 or 3 here, right? This does show 18. This is 28. Oh. Okay. So I think, okay, yeah. So this has to be 5 because of Sudoku. And what we had. This adds up to 18. So this cage, we're going to color this orange, cannot be divisible by 2 or 3, but it shares a common denominator, common factor with this cage, and this cage is 28, right? Yeah, 20 and 8. So this cannot be divisible by 2, but it must have a shared common factor with 28, so therefore it has a common factor of 7. So this cannot be 28. It cannot be 28. It cannot be 42. Okay, there's 7 digits here. So that means it has to be at least 28. But the problem is it does not share a factor, common factor except for 1 with this. So it cannot be divided by 2 or 3. So, and remember, digits cannot repeat in cages, so the most this could be ever is 45. So this actually has to be um, 35, I believe, right? This cannot be 28 because that would be divisible by 2, and this would be divisible by 2, and they would have a great common factor that's 2 at least. So it cannot be 28, cannot be 42 because of the same reason. So it has to be 35, which means it has to have it can only have 7 digits in it, right? If you tried to put in 8 digits, that's at least 36. So we know then this is 7, and therefore this has to be a 2. That's consecutive with 1 or 3. The 1 is already here, so this is 3. So we can remove that coloring. I guess we don't really need coloring anymore here. So let's just remove that coloring. This becomes 4, 6, and 9. This is also 4, 6, and 9. That can't be a 9, though. The 9 has to be here, interestingly enough. Ooh, that's interesting. It could be 6, 9. Yeah, 6, 9's fine. Okay. So this is 4, 5, 6, and 9. So that can't be 4 because of Sudoku. That can't be 5 because of Sudoku. We also know this is 1, 4, and 5. This becomes 5 through 9. This is 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, right? So again, this is 35. This has a common denominator or common factor with this. 35 only has 5 and 7. This can't be 5, so it must be 7. So this has to be 5. This can't be 5. This can't be 5. Oh yeah, we already knew that though. This can't be 4. This has a common factor with this. Therefore, this must be divisible by 7. This could be 1 or 4. It's not very helpful. This could be 15. So this is either 15 and it could be many things then if that's the case. Let's just 1, 2, no 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So no 1, 2, 4 here, no 2 here, no 8, no 7, no 5, 6, 7, 8, no 2, 4, 5, no 1, 5, or 9. Oh, this can't be 9. So it cannot be 1 because this would have to be 4. This can't be 4 then. This is 5. This can't be 6. So this is 5 or 8. Okay. So this has a common denominator or common factor as whatever pink is. It could extend to. We don't know which. This does 2. So this is 7 at least. But this does not have a common denominator. So 1 works here. 4 also potentially works as long as this is even or not even. Oh, this is 1 or 3. Right, it's consecutive. 1 or 3. This it still could be. Oh, it can't be 5, 6. So this can't be 6. If this was 6, this would have to be 5. But that we have a 5, 6 pair. We have a 5, 6 possibility there, and that would eliminate both possibilities. So this cannot be 6. So it's either 4, 5, or it's 8, 9. If this is 15, if this is 13, this has to be 39. So there's no 6. period. So if this is 4, 9. Interesting. Okay. Right. If this is 4, 9, that would force this to be 6. This would have to be. So since this is 4, 9, that's 13. The common factor would have to be 13 here, which would mean that this would have to be a 6. So if this is 4, 9, we know then this is only an 8-digit cage, right? Because it cannot have all 9 digits, then that would be 45. 45 does not have a common factor with 13. So if this is 4, 9, that would be 6. This would have to be add up to 39. And therefore, this can't be 6. This can't be 6. Therefore, this would have to be 6. So either way, the 6. So if this is 6, 9, it's the 6 is here. If it's 4, 9, the 6 would have to be here. Therefore, in box 5, the 6 cannot be here. The 6 has to be one of these two. Therefore, this has to be a 5, which means this has to be a 6, which means this cannot be 5. So the 6 is one of those two. We know this is 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, or 9. No 5 here. Oh, this is a 1 to 2 ratio. Oh, okay. That's one thing I didn't think of. This can't be 1 and 2. This has to be 4. So this is 4, this is 8, this is 1. Right, because if it's a 1 to 2 ratio, the only one that would work with 1 is 2. So that can't be 8. This is 5, which forces this to be 4. This is 9. This is 6, so this has to be a 6. Because of the logic we had before, that can't be 5, no 4, no 6 because of Sudoku, no 5 because of Sudoku, no 6, no 6 because of Sudoku, no 4, no 1, 4, 5, or 8. This has to be a 3 because of Sudoku. That's a 9 because of Sudoku. This has to be purple. So the 6 is one of those. Whatever's here has to be here, right? So therefore, we have a 1, 7, 8 combination here somewhere. 2 out of these two specifically have to be here, right? Because all of these, you have no 6 here. This can't be 4, so this has to be one of the 4s. So these two specifically, where do they go? Sorry, these two specifically, where do they go in box 4? It cannot be here because this is 1, 7, or 8. Oh, we also know where the 3 is, right? The 3 has to be here, right? This cage must contain a 3 because it must be add up to 39. And the only one that's not in it is 6. Therefore, this is a 3. This is a 1. So that forces this to be 7. This is 8. So this is 7, 8. So no 7, 8 here, no 7, 8 here. So this is 2, 1, 2. This is 4, 9. 4, 9. That can't be 1. This should add up correctly. So this is 12 plus 8, which is 20. That's 21. So that does work with 7. It has a common factor of 7. Okay, what is this? This cannot be 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 5, 6, or 7. Okay, so this is 7. This is 5 or 6. And this is 1, 2, and 4? Yes. So this can't be 4 because of Sudoku, no 1 because of Sudoku, no 7 because of Sudoku. This is consecutive, so this cannot be 2 or 3, which means this is 6 or 9. So this 6 or 9 has to be can only be consecutive with 7 or 8. So this is 2 or 3 because there's no other place in column 8 which can have a 2 or 3 except for these two squares. So it has to be 2 or 3 here. This is consecutive, so this has to be 6, which makes that 5. This can't be 6. So either this is 6, 7, or this is 9, 8. So this is 7 or 9 here. This is 7 or 9 here. Therefore, in box 9, this can never be 7 or 9. So this is 6 or 8. This shares a common denominator with 6. So 1 works here. I think 2 also works, right? 1 would add up to 14, and 14 and 6 have a common factor of 2. 2 and 6, so 2 plus 6 plus 7 adds up to 15, and 15 and 6 have a common factor of 3. 4, 6, and 7 adds up to 17, so 4 cannot work. Therefore, this has to be a 1, 2, 1, 2 pair, which means this is 4. Okay. So, okay, let's green everything that we know is good. So this is good, obviously, because that factor works. Same here, same here, same here, same here. Okay, so then that's that chain. This chain works. This chain works. So all of this is kosher. And that works with this, which works with this. Right, because we know that's 35. This must share something with this. So it could be 1, 6, and that's 7. Or if this is 1, 9, 1, 9 fits with 8 also. So that would work here. And this fits too. This unfortunately works. Okay, so then we have possibilities. 1, 2, 4, 5, 9. So no 5, no 4, no 1, 4, 5 because of Sudoku. This is 7 or 8, 7 or 8. This works with this. Because these are prime. This is prime with that. 1, 6, and 7 works. 1, 9, and 8 works. Okay, so this is 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Okay, we remove everything from that's eliminated by Sudoku. This is 1, 6, 7, 8, 9. Same thing here. No 7, no 6, 8, no 1. Okay, so we know this adds up to 39. That doesn't help any. This could be 1, in which case the common factor is 2. This could be 2, in which case the common factor is 5. Sorry, 3. These are relatively prime. This works with 1, 6, works with 7. 1, 9 works with 8. mm. 4 has to be here. That doesn't help. Okay, so we've got all the dots working. It just doesn't seem to help too much. Why? What is going on here? So if this is 1, 6 and this is 7, this has to be a cage by itself. This isn't helpful. Oh, 2 cannot be here. Right? The 2 is either here or here. Therefore, in rows 7 and 8, that means there cannot be any more 2's in those rows. So the 2 is either here or here. We don't know which. So, cell separated, but okay. How do we differentiate? hmm. So this is 6 or 8, but that doesn't really tell us anything. This is 7 or 9, but that doesn't really tell us anything either, right? Okay, we have that's done, that's done. All the dots I think are finished, except for this one. Oh, this has to be 5. Right. So the 5 can't be here, the 5 can't be here. Okay. So this might clear something up, and it doesn't. That doesn't help. um. Hmm. Okay. So we know then, yeah, either one that works, unfortunately. Oh, that's interesting. What happens if this is 4? If this is 4, no, sorry, if this is 9. If this is 9, this becomes 4, which means that can't be 4, which means this is 4, so this is 2. So this can't be 2, so this is 2. Right. So if this was a 9, this would have to be 4, which eliminates the 4 here. So this would be 4, which means that's 2. So this can't be 2, therefore that would be 2. That's if this is 4, right? And this is 9. If this is 9, this has to be 2. Either way. So this is 2 either way. So this can't be 2 anymore. These are consecutive, so neither of them could be 1. So this can't be 2 anymore. This has to be the 2. These two cells are consecutive, so this is 7 or 9. This is 7 or 9. There cannot be a 7 or 9 anywhere else in that row. Therefore, this is 3. This is 5, because the 7 got eliminated here, which forced the 5 to be here. This is 2, 1, 2, 3, because it's Sudoku. This is 9 because it's Sudoku, 3 because it's Sudoku. This can't be 9. This can't be 9. This can't be 3. This can't be 3. So 7, 8, 7, 8. This has to be 4, which makes that 1, which makes it 4, 9, 4, 9. So this is 1. No 1 here. Okay. There's 2 digits here now. If this is 7, this has to be 8 and 6. 7, 8, 6. That works. 9, 8, 7 works. But 9, 8, 6 does not work. Wait, 7? Okay, if this is 7, this is 6. This would have to be 8, which does not work. So this has to be 9. This is 7, this is 8. Which makes this 9. Okay, that's 5. Okay. 6, 4, 6, 9, 4, 9, 8. This has to be 7. 8. Oops. Yeah, that has to be 8 because Sudoku 7 and 6. And that's the puzzle. Jeez. Huh. I don't think I would call this easy either. Like, okay, so I also posted a very easy puzzle today, and I thought that was actually rather easy instead of very easy. This I consider average difficulty instead of easy difficulty level. I mean, I see the logic, but there's a lot you have to go through to actually get that to that logic, and that seems pretty convoluted. Yeah, I would classify this as average, but again, so I take the ratings from a certain website called Logic Masters Germany, and these are people who are practiced at doing variant Sudokus. So they gave this one an easy rating, and I consider this an average rating. And the previous one, and the one that I posted previous today was very easy, and I considered that easy level. Interesting. I hope you enjoyed the solve. I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.